Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Lesaffre UK and Ireland webinar, which will be topic on sensory analysis. Today, we will experience a live panel together. We hope that you will find it informative and enjoy. Now, I would like to introduce our presenters today. My name is Gülten Yağmur. I am Business Development Manager at Lesaffre UK and Ireland. And today we have Camille Dupuy with us. She is Sensory Analysis Manager in the Lesaffre Group, which is based in Lille in northern France. Welcome, Camille.
Hi, everyone.
Before we begin, I would like to share our sensory box. Each of you should have this sensory box. We will explain what is inside the box before we start testing session. Please wait our instruction to take the things out and don't use the QR code, which is just I will show you, which is under the lid. And please make sure you have a glass of water to hand. And there are a few points also I would like to bring to your attention. Please ensure that there are no running program on your device that have your camera or microphone open, as this may compromise your connection to our platform. And please post your question in the chat bar at the right side of your screen, and post them to moderators only, unless if you don't mind everybody is knowing that is you who is asking the question. If there are questions that we don't have enough time to answer, we will reply directly to you by email. Now, I would like to invite Camille to tell us what is sourdough, what is sensory analysis, and its importance in the field of product quality and development.
Okay, so we will be together for the next minutes to speak about sensory perception and to have a virtual tasting experience. But yes, I would like to start with a short definition of sensory analysis. And first of all, sensory analysis is a science based on the analysis of human perception, which is used to assist in product development. What does it mean? If you develop a bread, there are two options: or the final consumer likes the product or he doesn't like. And this is our main task as sensory analysts, to give sensory indications in order to be aligned with consumer expectations and help R&D in this mission. I would like to share with you another very good example taken from the market to show you what the importance of what the consumer like. So you can see on the screen four products. On the top left, you can see a durian, which is an Asian fruit, very typical from Asia. I hope the majority of you have already tasted this very interesting product. You also can see on the top, at the bottom left of the screen, Roquefort, which is a typical French cheese, very strong cheese. And also you can see two types of bread: the Mantao coming from China, on the top right, and at the bottom right you can see the baguette, which is a French specialty. So to help you imagining the products, I will describe the Mantao, because probably you don't know this product, which is very seldom in Europe. So this is a very white, dense, and tasteless product. If I now describe further in detail the baguette, this is a crusty, this is a golden, this is a airy and tasteful product. So these two types of bread are very opposite. So let's now look at who likes or don't like this product. It's very opposite countries, because Asian people definitely love Mantao and durian, whereas European people and especially French people love baguette and Roquefort. And it's even prohibited to transport durian out of Asia to France or to Europe because of this strong of flavor, what we call European people call of flavor. So this is crazy to see that in very extreme cases of food, the preference area can show a huge, very huge country effect, and that the culture is very important in consumer preferences. So this is something we actually take into account for our sensory analysis to be sure to be aligned with market expectations. So let's now go back to the bakery field, and let's look at this croissant from the sensory point of view. In the croissant, what matters the most is the appearance, but also the flavor and the texture. At a lower effect, the smell and the sound, but the most important things to consider in the for the final croissant consumer are definitely appearance, flavor, and texture. Then let's now take a look to the buns, and for this product, which is different from the croissant, and again, considered from the sensory point of view, you can see that the texture and the appearance are very important, whereas the flavor, the smell, and obviously the sound are absolutely not important to the final consumer. So we can summarize by saying that the croissant quality is driven equally by its texture, flavor, and appearance, whereas buns quality is strongly correlated to texture and then by appearance. Why is it so important to understand the quality drivers of the bakery product? Because a good knowledge of the finished product enables to build up relevant tasting protocols to evaluate product quality. And this is of big importance to build our panel tests. So because we are also convinced that the bread vocabulary is very important, we have written 4 books since 2016. So the first book is the crusty bread in words. Then we wrote the sandwich bread in words, then the croissant in words, and the pizza in words. So in this, all these books are built the same way. And in this book, you will find a lot of words, a lot of vocabularies related to the bakery goods we wanted to illustrate. And they are organized in 5 chapters, 1 chapter by sense. So 1 chapter for the texture, 1 chapter focused on the taste, on the smell, on the sight, on the touch, texture. And inside this chapter, so you will find words, but both taken from expert vocabulary, but also from consumer vocabulary. In front of these words, you will also find illustration like pictures, but also definitions, and well, also the relationship between the expert level of vocabulary and the consumer level of vocabulary. So, well, more or less, you will find 70 expert words and 400 consumer words in each book. And apart from the chapters dedicated for words, you will find shared experiences from professionals also, and very original recipes that you can try if you are interested. And last but not least, you will find good practices for bread tasting. So we hope that these books can help you guiding you during your daily tasting. And this is our main target is to help for objectivation of bread description. So you will find all these books in your mystery box that Gülten introduced before, so you can take them out. But unfortunately, we won't have time today to spend more time on these books together. But hopefully, you will take time to get through them later. And if you want to share them with friends or colleagues, you can download them from this website that you can see the link on the screen. So you can take a picture maybe of this website. And I now would like you to take something else from your mystery box again, and this is the palette of aromas. So this is a very precious tool for us. This is actually a summary of the most important and the most useful words of the books. So on this palette, you will find around 50 words. They are gathered into 7 families. So if I take the first one, which is the fruity families, inside you will have 7 words related to fruity. So you have the apricot, you have the prune, you have the grape, and so on. Then you have the roasted family with all words related to roasted notes like caramel, like coffee, like chocolate. Then you have the fermentation family, which is a very important one. And inside you will find both acidic and sourdough related words, but also more words relating more to yeast fermentation, alcohol, fresh yeast, and this type of words of flavors. You have also the spicy, you have the dairy with the fatty and buttery and creamy notes, and you have the cereals with the rye, with the buckwheat, with the wheat. There is as the last family is the taste, which is a little bit apart because this family gathers words related to tongue perception, which are from the physiological point of view a bit different from the 6 other families. Well, it's now time to pass to the practical part of this webinar today. So we are going to, I'm going to introduce the Lesaffre through 6 sourdoughs. So in your box, you can take the 6 plastic bottles that you should have inside. They are coded with blind codes A, B, C, D, E, F. Thank you, Gülten, for showing us the bottles. So now that you have taken them out of the box, you can put them in front of you in the right order from A to F. So the 2 first one, A and B, are containing dry sourdoughs, C and D liquid ones, and E and F paste ones. So we are going to start the tasting experience by smelling products. I'm sure your buds are almost ready to taste the products after, but all tasting usually starts by the smell. So we start by smelling. So you can maybe open the bottle A and try to round the bottle in front of your nose and smell inside. And maybe try to put words on what you smell from the bottle. As you can see, our experts said from the sourdough inside that it's fruity, it's roasted, and it's cereals. So I think you still have in front of you the palette of aromas, so you can see these 3 families. So this was for the products A. Let's now switch to the B sourdough, which is still a dry product. So you can open the bottle and again, put it in front of your nose and smell gently and then more intensely. And I think you can smell very obviously that this B product is very different from the first you smelled just before. And this product is described as more sour and more cereals. Let's now take the product C. So I remind you that it's a liquid product, a liquid sourdough. So again, you can turn the product, smell it. And this product is more acidic and fruity. So this is probably stronger. And this is the reason why we smelled before the dry ones, which are less aggressive and are less sharp, let's say. So I don't know if you like the smell of these products, but this is typical for liquid sourdough. So let's now take the following one, which is the D. So you can then open the bottle and smell again. So this sourdough is different from the previous one. I think you will agree with me. And this is more alcohol, this is more fruity, this is more malty. So we have here two very different examples of liquid sourdoughs. And this is the reason why we choose these two sourdoughs to show you very, very different options. So let's now move to the paste sourdoughs with the bottle E. So if you open the bottle and smell inside, for this one, you have an acidic product. You also can probably smell the rye and also the fruity notes in the back. And let's finish with the last one, which is the letter F. So if you open the bottle, this one is very strong, and you can probably recognize the acidic, the spicy notes, and secondary, but very present anyway, the rye flavor. So you have here in front of you a very huge range of products coming from smoother to sharper products, and this is very interesting to compare.
Thank you, Camille. I think now it's time to find out which sourdoughs are in this little box. We have selected 6 sourdough products from our product range. Some are alive, some are devitalized, and some are sourdough-based preparation. Let's start with sample A. Sample A is devitalized durum wheat sourdough, and sample B devitalized buckwheat sourdough. They don't have any fermenting power, require no preparation, and can be incorporated directly to mixing process. And they can be used all kind of bread mixing process. And sample C is crème de l'Avent. It is the rice sourdough in liquid form. It is ready to use and also living sourdough. The ingredients are water, rye, and malted wheat flour, sourdough yeast, and bacteria. And it's produced from the natural fermentation of cereal flour obtained from organic farming. Sample D is Levalis in liquid form. In fact, it is not actually a sourdough. It is a very special Polish style product. This is a pre-fermentation of yeast fermented with malt and milk. We can say it is a aromatic liquid which brings uniquely different flavor to the different bakery products. And sample E is whole grain rice sourdough. It is also a devitalized sourdough, which has similar advantages to other devitalized sourdough. It can be incorporated directly to the mixing process, and it provides very strong acidity, which is useful for quality production of rye bread. And the last sample is AS300P. This is a sourdough-based preparation. It includes devitalized wheat sourdough, lactic acid, acetic acid, spices, wheat bran, sunflower lecithin. I think you already perceived some of these notes during the assessment. As you can see, the range of usage rate of each product, it's really change, is different. But the level you choose to use will depend on the intensity of flavor you want and the color you are looking for in your product. We choose 3 sourdough products among 6 to make bread, and these are buckwheat, Levalis, and AS300P. We use 6% buckwheat, 6% Levalis, and 3% AS300P in our bread making recipe. And here is the bread recipe, basic bread recipe that we use. The ingredients are flour, water, salt, yeast, and improver. We decided to make thin bread as it is one of the common bread type in UK, and the process is straight through, no bulk fermentation. After baking and cooling step, we slice and pack the bread. There is another point. We didn't use any preservative so that the flavor wouldn't be masked. Camille?
So it's time now to taste. So we introduced the sourdough before, but so in your box you have the slices of bread that you can take out now. So you have 4 slices or 4 packages. So the first one is a control, and please remember that there is no sourdough inside. So this is a blank, this is a control, just to compare to sample 1, 2, and 3. And sample 1, 2, and 3 contain sourdough, different one of the 3 presented before by Gulten, Levalis AS300P or buckwheat sourdough. So to help you and to guide you during this tasting, we built a questionnaire, a web survey that you will reach by scanning a QR code, which is also in your box. But I will explain you how we built this survey. So this is actually divided into 3 sections. And each section is organized the same way. So one section by sample. So the section 1 is about sample 1, section 2 about sample 2, section 3 about sample 3, and nothing about the control, again, because the control is just here for comparison. So in each section, you will find 3 questions. The first question is how much you like the product, your overall liking of the product. So on 5, which is the maximum score. Then you have a question for bread description, and this is actually where you will train yourself on your ability to find the right words. And so you will find in this part a list of words taken from the palette of aromas. And what we expect from you is that you smell and you taste the product, and you tick the most relevant words from this list. You can tick several words if you want, or none if you don't want, and put comments in the free area. And then the last question is, which sourdough do you think is in the sample? So I hope it's clear for you. Just before the tasting, we would like to show you how a video about good practices of bread tasting. Okay.
Sorry. Now, okay, let's go.
So in summary, you have 2 slices. So take the part which is in the middle, which is more fresh, and don't forget to rinse your mouth. But now it's time to scan the QR code to reach the web survey. So you can scan it directly from the screen. And I will let Gulten guide you.
Okay, thank you, Camille. Now we can start to taste the bread. You will have about 2 minutes to taste and to fill the questionnaire. First, we will start with control sample, which has no number on the packs. Each of you received 4 packs, and each pack has 4 slices of bread. And please use the middle slice to taste and to smell. Camille, maybe some audience has a question about the size of pieces. Is it important? We should take small pieces or big pieces?
We actually are all different, and some of us have let's say, more important, more efficient way of chewing. So it depends on everybody. But what I recommend is to take a very small piece in the beginning, and you will be impressed how flavorful is a small piece of bread when you take time to chew slowly. And after, if you need, you can take another one, bigger one maybe, or so.
Okay.
Better to take 2 than a big one.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if you taste control sample, please fill the survey. So I will start the sample 1, which has the number on the pack. And please don't forget to rinse your mouth after each tasting session. I continue with sample 2. And the last sample, sample 3. Yeah, I tested all sample, but you have few minutes to fill the survey. Please take your time, and Camille will share the result with us also. Okay, maybe last minute, please. Please fill the questionnaire. And Camille, could you let me know when the results are ready?
Yes, we are reaching the 20 participants.
Okay, we
Wait,
can wait a little bit. Okay.
Okay, I think it's okay. We can now look at the results together because I think almost all the participants did the survey. So this was for the first product. And you said in your majority, you said this product was fruity and was also cereals and at a lower level roasted and sourdough. So this is interesting to look also at the matching with the sourdoughs because you said so. Okay, the majority were actually right because the majority or the most people were right because 48% we had 48% of correct matching. So well done. In terms of description, we will see after what our expert panel said about the same product. So you will see if you are aligned or not. But I think you did good work. So let's move to next product. So this was the sample 2. So the sample 2 was the dry buckwheat, and we have a high score of correct matching. So again, well done. And in terms of description, the majority of you said that this product was cereals, which is really true. And also the sourdough, you underlined the sourdough and the fruity notes in this product. The roasted notes come after and was not mentioned by a majority, but only by 5 people. So interesting. So, but mainly a product driven by cereals flavor. So again, we'll see after what our experts say about this product and about the sample 3. Thank you. The AS300P, it was the AS300P, and we have 78% of correct matching. So it's a wow results. And in terms of description, I'm very impressed because you are very close of what our experts said about the same product. Because you said this is a spicy product, has dominant flavor, and then you said sourdough and fruity, which is actually really true. And you said then cereals because of the rye flavor, most probably. So we will look at the our internal profiles, but you will see it's very close. So thank you for this hard exercise. So about the product, we already saw your results. And so this is the matching. So again, the sample 1 was the product D. So it was the Levalis product, the Polish product. The sample 2 corresponded to B product, which was the buckwheat dry sourdough. And the third product, again, was the made with the F sourdough, the paste sourdough AS300P. So So let's now look to the organoleptic profiles of the products made by our expert panelists. And we have for the Levalis, if you remember well, you said fruity as dominant flavor. Actually, yes, we have the fruity mentioned. Oh, we have some back sounds. Okay. So we have the fruity in the wheel, in the aromatic wheel done by our experts, but it's not the dominant flavor. Our experts said it was more dairy, but it's always very tricky to distinguish between the fruity and the dairy, and sometimes you need more expertise to be able to distinguish between both notes. Also, they said more alcohol that you didn't actually really mention for this product because you said more sourdough. So it was more alcohol than sourdough. And that's it for the first product. About the second one, you said dominance of cereal, which is absolutely true. And you said also roasted in the dominant flavors. So very well done. As secondary notes, we have sourdough and we have the sourness of the product, which was noticed by our expert panelists. So this is a very different profiles. We have different profiles between Levalis and buckwheat, but I'm sure you felt it from the products. And the third product is the AS300P, and as I said, you did actually as good as what experts say, because you said sourdough, you said spicy, and you said fruity. So it's exactly the expert description of the product. Also, a strong sourness in this product, and the rye at a lower level. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay. With this test, you have discovered a sensory profile of some sourdough products in our Livende range. Whether you wish to improve the sensory profile of your products or develop a new product with sourdough, you need to consider the flavor profile and complexity of your sourdough selection. As you see, there's a broad range in terms of different type of product. Starters, ready-to-use living sourdough, devitalized sourdough, sourdough-based preparation. And each of these products has their own characteristics, and they bring different flavor notes to your products. And please keep in mind that sensory profiles will vary depending on the level of use, recipe, and process conditions such as proofing time or temperature. And now Camille will inform us sensory analysis services provided by Lesaffre.
Yes, we had this experience together today, but you must know that we offer the sensory analysis as a service if you need it. So I'm just going to introduce the service in 2 words. So our service can be or to do sensory studies for you, or to assist you in your sensory activity. So about the sensory studies that we can offer you, we can help you to answer all your sensory requests. So first of all, if you have a sensory question, you can just give us your question, and then we will select the best sensory methodology to give you the fastest and most relevant answer. Also, we will carry out the expert panel accordingly, and then we will do the data processing and the tailor-made reporting to help you, again, to assist you in your product development. You must know that in our sensory methods, we can choose between standard methods, but also innovative methods and dynamic methods. But I'm not going to enter into details today. The second part of our service is to assist you in your sensory activity. So we can imagine to offer you to animate a training on your specific sensory vocabulary, but also assistance for the creation of your sensory lexicon adapted for your product. And also we can imagine full training to create an in-house panel if you are interested. So I would like to give you a few examples of all these services. So you can see on the screen 3 examples of graphs. So the first one at the top left is a spider graph, which can definitely help you in product development. So this is what we can provide. If you have a request, this is what we can provide you by making our expert panel work for you. So it will give you very precise indications to help you in your product development. At the bottom left, you can see a sensory mapping, but I will go further into this example just after. On the top right, you can see a sensory diagnosis, which is a simpler representation of sensory data, because you see there is a very it's very easy to understand. It gives you the intensity of the perceived flavor, and this is also given by our panel. So these 3 types of charts you could get if you ask us to support you by a sensory study for one of your requests. And at the bottom right, you can see a picture of a training made for one of our Chinese customer. Let's now get a little bit further into an example of mapping. It's actually a UK frozen pizza mapping, which was done in 2019. So on this on the screen, you can see a group of 20 pizzas which are located at any place on the map. So what is a mapping actually? A mapping is a representation, sensory representation of both products and sensory criteria. And this is exactly what you can see on this representation. In red, you can see sensory criteria, and also you can see the pizzas. So how to read this type of mapping? Well, everything has to. So first of all, the mapping is built based on the results of an expert panel, first of all. And the key is that when products are close on the map, it means that the panels gave very similar scores to this product. If I take the example of the top of the bottom left of this map, you can see the 2 Tesco's products as well as the Aldi, which are very close together. It means that thank you. It means that the panel gave very similar scores to this product. More than this, you can see this is very close to the descriptor bready. So it means that this group of products was or obtained very high score for the bready criteria. So fortunately, we are helped by statistics. And you see that based on more or stronger statistical analysis, we can draw circles, and these circles are circle of similarities. So we have here 3 groups of similarities of similar products or considered as similar products. So the first group on the top left was characterized by sourdough flavor and sour perception, as you can see, because inside this gray circle, you can see sour and sourdough as main descriptors. And in this group, you can see we have 5 pizzas. Then let's move to the group 2, which was characterized by fatty durum wheat and nut bready flavors. So this is the second group. And then you have the third group, which was more characterized by bready and yeasty flavors. So how can we use the results of such mapping? We can, for example, if you are in a development process, you can maybe see where your target is, or maybe you can see a gap, a lack in the market, and you can maybe think, okay, I will develop my product to fill in this gap. Also, you can see where your competitors are, how you are in comparison to them. And so this is mainly what we can do with the results of the mapping. So I hope it's clear for you. If you are interested, definitely we can help you doing this for you.
Thank you, Camille, for all information you gave. That was really comprehensive study. Please, could you inform us your team in Lille? How many expert panelists do you work with?
So we are, for the expert panelists, we have a group of 40 people. When I say expert, I mean people who have been trained for 20 hours. So they are real experts. And within these 40 people, we have two groups of different skills. One group of people is dedicated and more specialized for texture analysis, and the other group is more specialized in flavor, smell, and taste of the bakery products.
Okay, great. As Camille explained, sensory analysis is a part of service that Lesaffre provides to its customer. If you would like one of your products to be evaluated by Lesaffre experts, please feel free to contact me or anyone from UK team. Now we come to the end of our presentation, and it's time to take your question. Please just post your question in the chat bar. I see you already start to put some question, and I will start. Kami, one of our audience say, I didn't get dairy in sample one. How we can explain? Everybody can feel the itchy note?
Yes, I try to give you some indication about this point, but so the dairy is very difficult to perceive, and this is something very professional to be able to describe a dairy. So this probably take more time to be able to detect and to put the word dairy on the perception you have, and this is very often let's say described as fruity, something like fruity. So this is probably the reason why you were not all able to tick the dairy for the sample one.
Yeah, and also, Kami, is it important if panelists smoke or drink coffee before the tasting session? These are the factors really impact the results?
Yes, yes, we recommend not to have any strong food or coffee or smoke just 1 hour before the session. So it means that your palate is very ready to have the product and very fresh. So yes, we know that it's very disturbing if you do so. But the more expert you are, the more you can have strong food before, because you are very trained and you are able to distinguish between the notes coming from the food or coming from the coffee or the cigarettes than the notes coming from the bread itself.
Okay. Another question: do you issue attendee certificates?
You mean for the training, right?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah,
as far as
probably.
I understood, yeah.
I think so. So no, we are not providing any certificates because the sensory analysis is something very specific, and there is no real, I think, as far as I know, no real certificate in this field. But just for you to know that we carry out all our panel in respect of the ISO norm. And all our sensory lab is standardized and following these norms.
Okay, great. There is a question about pizza dough. Audience is asking, with pizza dough, you may also get acidic notes during fermentation or storage of the dough. How does this determine what yeast you use?
Okay, so this is a more technical question, but yes, from the sensor point of view, yes, you are right. You get a certain acidity coming from the yeast fermentation, but this is nothing to do with the acidity coming from the sourdough itself. So if we, for example, if we consider the three sourdough we experienced together today, if you put for example, the AS300P into the pizza dough, it will definitely cover the acidity brought by the yeast. But maybe you have more technical comments about this.
Yeah, I think our audience talk about the dry yeast or fresh yeast differences because she's asking, determining what yeast do we use. I would say, as we explained, yeast produce acetic acid, lactic acid, or other flavor compounds during the fermentation. If we introduce the same number of alive yeast cell to the dough, they will produce same amount acid. And if we give the enough time, actually the production amount will vary, will depending on the level of yeast, storage time of the dough, and also temperature. Uh, yeah, I can explain like that in terms of technical points. And another question about, can sourdough help with extending shelf life?
Well, interesting question, because shelf life means two things. You know, it's the antifungic effects, like how does the sourdough prevent from molding, but also the shelf life means the softness in the product. So for the first part, yes, definitely, to the adding of sourness will extend the shelf life naturally because of the introduction of acidity inside. But for the second part, when you put sourdough in a product, the first effect you will have is that the crumb will, on the contrary, be less soft. But this is what you will have as a result just after the bread cooling. But after a few days, it will turn out that because of the sourdough, you will maintain a stable softness level more than with no sourdough, where the softness will decrease faster.
Yeah. Also, I would like to add one point in terms of molding time. Yes, sourdough will help to prevent molding, but we cannot claim each sourdough will extend shelf life significantly. It really depends on the level of use of the product, acid type, and amount. So these are really critical points. And another question, it's about what is the best time to taste the bread?
Um, uh, so again, like we spoke just before about the strong food and the cigarette and everything. So yes, there is, when you are not expert, there is the best time is just before lunch, or when you anyhow when you are hungry, because your palate will be expecting food, and so will be more accurate to describe the product and to get the product's qualities. But if you are an expert, again, the more expert you are, the more it won't impact your tasting results.
Okay. And there's another question. What is the minimum requirement to build a sensory panel in bakeries? Is this possible?
So I'm not sure to be clear with the question, but I think yes, as far as you have sensory requests, if you are enough people, it means you have a minimum, a group of 10 people at minimum. And if you have time to train them, and if you train them with the right methods as well, it will definitely be possible for anybody to create a panel.
Okay. And there is an interesting question. How do baking parameters affect the flavor of bread? I know you are working a lot about the impact of different baking parameters.
Yes. So the baking parameters impact so for example, we have the feeling that maybe the fermentation is the most impacting part of the final taste of the product, and to some extent, yes, this is the case. But did you know that the mixing is very important too, and also the baking, because depending on the degree, you will have more or less roasted notes, and also it will influence the way the bread will behave in the following hours. So yes, the fermentation time is really important, but also the mixing and also the baking are very important.
Okay. I think also everybody is noticing when they use a different oven, even if they use the same bread recipe, the taste is really changed. So it's really critical parameters.
This is the magic of the bakery.
Yeah. You already explained, but maybe how can I use the sensor analysis in product development?
Yes, so as I took the example of the mapping, so this is a real example. Also, I show you a spider chart.
Mm-hmm.
So in the example of the mapping, you have a comparison of your competitors and you, but you can also do a mapping with different like different trials that you create with your R&D, and then you can compare this way, have a very clear comparison of all your options. So this is a way to visualize how different your options are. And when you have the spider chart, you have very precise measurements of the sensory quality of your product. So it's obvious that you can, once you change a little bit with the development, you can make a new measurement of your product, and you will see how much the spider chart will change in comparison to the first measurement.
Okay. Now we are coming to the end of our session, but just one more question. Which ingredients mask the flavor of bread?
The worst ingredient, I would say, are the preservatives in general, because they are masking a lot. Not really the flavor, but the smell very much. So yes, I would say the preservative. Also, the fat you use will have the same effect of covering, masking the real taste flavor of the bread, and especially a bad quality fat will impact a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much, Camille. Now it's time to close our session today. And I would like to thank Camille Dupuy for joining us and sharing her expertise. We hope that you found it interesting and useful, and you will able to join us again in our next webinar that will be on Lesaffre specialty yeast in April. You can catch up with our previous webinars on our YouTube channel. And please don't forget, follow us via LinkedIn. Thank you for your attention and goodbye. Thank you, Camille.
Thank you very much for your time and for living this virtual tasting experience together. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.